I recently did a video and I spoke about a new job I acquired. And I want to talk about minimum wage. Too many companies do not value their workforce. They don't. And then, when someone decides to pay minimum wage, it begs the question, how low were they prepared to go if that wasn't the baseline? We all deserve to have a good quality of life outside of work. And I think when especially, you work hard, you deserve something. There's people that do look down on people who don't make a lot of money. And for me, it's absolutely ridiculous. Everybody should be thriving. If you work hard, then why should you have a lower quality of life? I don't think it doesn't matter about skills. It really doesn't. Everybody's contributing towards something. Any contribution deserves to be rewarded. So people often say upskill and all that, but that doesn't always work. As you can see there, upskill. I mean, I've done 6 books. There's only 4 there, but I've done 6 books, by extension audio books, done podcast episodes. I've been nearly 500 YouTube videos, thousands of TikTok videos. I've studied at university. I've done college, obviously school. It doesn't always work out how you want it to work out. Hopefully in time it will. But not everybody gets the breakthrough. And not everybody lives in areas where they will get a breakthrough. Yeah, you could argue it's up to us to put ourselves outside our comfort zone to pursue our dreams. I've been doing that. Doesn't always work out, especially in the time scale we want. So we have to be pragmatic with life. So I recently just, like I said, I had an interview Friday. It literally came out of nowhere. I'd applied early in the morning. Within 10 minutes, they called me back. And then there was, do you want to come in for an interview? That was like 7 o'clock in the morning. I think it was about 10:30. I was having an interview. Crazy. Then a week later, like yesterday, I was asked out of the blue to come in, like top 3, come and have a look around. Then they offered me the role when I got home. It was 27. This is the thing with me. For me, I'm a transparent person. I don't hide nothing because I'd rather give people the tools to improve their own life. So I'll just explain what I do, why I accept this, and hopefully it helps people reflect. So this job pays 27,000. It was 27,300 is the job offer. But the listing said 27 to 29,000, but there was no negotiation. So straight away I'm thinking, where did the number come from? Now, for me personally, based on my own expenditure, my own obligations, ideally I want to take home, after taxes and national insurance and all these deductions, I want to be able to take home 1,800 a month because I've had that in the past. So I left a job that paid me, I started the job on £26,000 a year, and that was back in 2022, and I was really happy with that. That was a good wage back then. And then a year later, it went up to 28,000, and I left that job because it wasn't a good working environment. But based on those numbers, 26 and 28, I knew that being on 1,800 take home was a good baseline for me. It allowed me to pay my bills. For instance, my rent, I live in a social council house. It's 2-bedroom house. Fortunate. But if I had to go for anyone that's got social housing knows they've been through some things to get it. You don't just get that handed to you. So my rent is cheap. I'm fortunate. I don't doubt that I'm fortunate in that sense, But because it's cheaper, my expenditure's lower. So, I know where my threshold is. So my rent, for instance, is only £450 a month. Now it goes up every year, but it only goes up by maybe £10 each year or something like that, £10, £12. Of course, that's progressive. So wages need to go up with it too. Now, of course, we have other bills around that. You have all sorts of bills and expenditures. But let's say total expenditure. I don't know the exact number. I've not done the maths, but let's say it's 1,200. If I've got 1,800, I know I've got 600 actually spare money. And I know a lot of people, when they finish work and they get paid all their bills, a lot of people are actually in debt every month. They can't even climb out of it. It's like constant. So it's really about managing and juggling your finances and figuring out what is your baseline, what would break even, and then what is spare money after. Because that's a really important place to be. So I know if I've got 1,800, then my baseline is 12. Let's say it's 1,200 to be. It might even be slightly more. Who knows? But then that does leave a wiggle room. So that's £600. Then you might think, oh, that's only £600. But you don't have to spend everything every month. So let's say you pay all your bills. You just focus on work. You still enjoy it. You're still just living. You're getting on with life. You don't spend the 600. Now, most of us do because we want to enjoy things. But if you don't, and then you go into the next month, by the time you get paid next month, now you've got £1,200 surplus. And it does start to build and build and build if you can continue to cope. So, like I say, this job's 27,300. That was a baseline of about 1,900. So it's about 100, 19, I think it's £130 or something. So literally, it's £130 more than what I was hoping for. So it might not look great, but to me it is, because I'm already up. And now I've contacted them and said, look, is that literally it? Because I know minimum wage goes up and it might knock things on. And they've said, no, that is your base salary, but because you do the forklift as well, there's an exception to that. So you get an extra 79 pence an hour. And I thought, it doesn't sound big, does it? But 79 pence an hour pushes me from 27,300 to £29,000 a year. Again, some people might go, oh, that's not a lot of money. To me, it's good. It's okay. Depends what your expectation is. You know, I hope one day, I hope my book starts selling and other things. Now that'd be a passive income on top. So that could be really good for me. So it's nice to have a baseline where you know all your bills are paid, you've got comfort, and then hopefully other things can build on that too. All of a sudden you're thriving and instead of surviving. So what we do, we go through the list now so we can see. There's a website called it's called the Salary Calculator, but if you just take home pay into it. So we've gone from 27,300 to 29,000. Now, like I said, I was hoping to take home 1,800. For me, that's a good number for me. Anything obviously more is beneficial because it can pay for your fuel. It can pay for, brings things into thingy. So I don't know the exact tax code. They've put one in here, and I think that's really what it is. Effectively, this tax code means I think you can earn £12,570 per year before it gets taxed. And I think that's the normal tax code in the UK. So it's tax free, and after that, it's taxable. I can't remember the numbers. Is it 20%? Something like that. But anyway, if you've got any other deductibles, you can put them in here. I'm not bothering with any of that because I don't know any that I should. I've got a student loan, but I think you've got to earn over 34,000 before that goes in. So I'm not really going to bother with that information. And then you can tick the box. Do you want yearly information, monthly, weekly, daily? So what we do, tax year based on next year, because we're going into next year now. 25, 26, calculate. Oh, God, get rid of it. I'll get rid of this big one as well because it's ridiculous. Right. So based on this one, the gross income is the earnings. So we don't need any of that. That's just money before tax. That's of no use to us at all. Taxable income is 16,000 because they're taking away that 12 before you get taxed. So what it says, tax breakdown, national insurance, really what we're interested in. I don't really care about deductions. Just tell me what I get. So your take-home pay per year is 24,399. Per month, 2,333. So already £233 more than I was expecting, or what I needed to cope with, really. So effectively, if my base income, if let's say my bills are 1,200, I'm not sure if it exactly is. I'm going to have to go through it all a little bit, see what the expectations are. But let's say it is 1,200. That now gives me 800 spare every month. And of course, if you've got that 1 month, you don't spend it, or you try and save that next month. Now you've got 1,600 spare. And then maybe you got 2,400. If you can just be smart with the money for a period, you can really start to grow it. You don't. This is my point, though, is you don't have to get paid luxury sums of money. It's really how you manage your money is what's going to be important here. Someone could get paid twice as much as me, have a car on finance, ridiculous amount of bills going out. They've got a terrible lifestyle. Doesn't matter how much money they got, they're always capping themselves out. But they'll act like they're doing better in life than you, but they're not because they can't even control themselves. So you can earn less than someone else if you can manage your finances. So for me personally, I know with this job, it's just a normal job. I get the weekends off. You got your evenings clear. It's just a normal, typical schedule, really. And so you get normal, balanced life around it too. And like I said, there's a level of comfort in that. So I'm actually quite happy. There's no overtime from my understanding, but then I think that's good because that forces us, for instance, to manage our finances because some people live on overtime. So if the overtime dries up, they're screwed because everything they've done is built upon them being able to earn more. The trouble is that doesn't give you a balanced work-life schedule. You need to have time for you too. And like I said, I'm happy that this opportunity's come. I got this. There was other opportunities I can consider. But I think for the most part, this is looking favourable to me. And I know, like, given every month, if I'm just responsible with my money, I shouldn't be struggling. We can all go a bit wayward and we want something sooner rather than later. But you have to consider the fact that it can leave you struggling at the end of the month. And one of the other things, especially when it comes to work, is when you're struggling to pay your bills, it makes work feel heavy because it doesn't feel rewarding. So if you spend all your money all the time and every time it's payday, you're literally surviving from one payday to the next. Work would get really annoying because you don't think they're paying you enough. Now, not everybody's going to have the same fortunate, like in terms of like the fact that my rent is so cheap, but then I also live on my own. So I get that a lot where people are couples and they act like their life's really hard, and it's like, it can't be. Like for me personally, it can't be. If I can cope alone, how the hell can two people not cope together? Unless one's hemorrhaging the money all the time and they've got no control. And then, of course, that's your own fault because you got stuck with someone that's you can drain on you rather than a positive influence. But, so effectively, if there was two people living together, then it would be fair for my rent to maybe be 800, 900 because then we're still paying evenly the same amount of money. So, yeah, I can't help but think if I was in a relationship, for instance, think how much money we'd have spare. It'd be nice. We'd have a great life together, I think. So it does give, and that's not even on a higher wage. So, yeah, of course, it's up to us to, I think, value ourselves enough that we don't just accept bottom line. So it's always like maybe look to improve. But there's always so many aspects to when we work, isn't there? Like, what's the working conditions like? The people you're working alongside, where's the location, how many hours? It's all these little things. And of course, the pay is an important part because that's really what contributes to our home life. But yeah, for me personally, I'm happy with that now because I can manage my resources now. Now I can literally, I'll budget. Now I'm going to start writing down what are all your bills, what's the expenditure, how much is spare, and then start being a bit more pragmatic about that. And I think that's just really important. Like I said, if my books pick up and I start making money by other venues, that'd be really great for me, of course. That'd be really nice to have some supplementary income from that because I've worked hard. It'd be nice to start getting some gains from what I've done for a long time now. But from the baseline, it's thriving. See, I see a lot of influencers, for instance. Let's go back over here. I see a lot of influencers. They just refuse to work. They think their presence alone justifies people like propping them up and paying their way through life. And sometimes you just got to humble yourself and give yourself a platform to have at least a baseline income, where then you can still do your other stuff, but it can supplement what you've already got. And at least you've earned the money yourself. You're able to pay and pay your bills and live comfortable enough. And then everything else is a bonus, So it's supplementary income. But I think when you're just relying on handouts for people all the time, it's like it's not really a sustainable way of being. And I think it sends you on a bit of a delusional perception of life. So anyway, hopefully that's gone some way to helping people because I know people gatekeep a lot about finances, resources, and all that. I never understand the reason really. It's like, who cares what people know? I don't really care because at the end of the day, it's up to us how we balance our finances. Like I said, you can have someone that earns more, but if they've got no accountability and they're just wasteful, it doesn't really matter how much they earn, does it? Because they'll always waste it. If you can figure out what your baseline is, what is your expenditure? So that's like your bills, your grocery shopping, your fuel to get to work. What is the costs for that? And then what is it left over? Because that's all spare money, isn't it? It's spare money. So for instance, that extra money there where I said I wanted 1,800 and now it's 2,033. We're now like 200 more, £233 more. Now, I do like to have a holiday every year. And realistically, to go on holiday is probably going to cost me maybe, I don't know, maybe 60, £70 a month to save, because you can put a deposit down. Depends on what holiday you're going to, destination. If you're going with people, because obviously two people sharing a room, it's cheaper. It's usually the hotels that cost the most, not the flights, depending on where you're going. I like Europe. So effectively, let's say at the most, it's about £70 a month, I'd say. It could be a little bit more. But effectively, I've already made that in the difference. It's not going to make much of a difference, is there? If you're taking home 2,033 and you took £70 a month off for a holiday, I'm not going to do the exact maths here, but let's say you then take home 1,095. No, 1,050. Let's say 1,950. Let's say now I'm taking home 1,950. You're not really going to notice that difference between that and 2,033, are you? So you're still taking home 1,950. You put money towards a holiday. That's good. So that's one of the payments I probably will make contribute towards, because it'd be nice to have a holiday. It's nice to relax and have a break, see different parts of the world, new experiences and things like that. So yeah, everywhere we spend money, it's all about accountability. Everywhere we spend money, it takes it away from something else. So it's really important that we're thoughtful with that. But again, hopefully, like me just being transparent with my journey, my life, the decisions I make, it will just hopefully helps other people that are going through hardships themselves. Because I want to show people it's light at the end of the tunnel. You know, I've gone through a huge period here of transition where I've took time out to write my books, focus on my projects. I left my last job in 2023 in September, so there has been like a maybe an 18-month cycle here of me focusing on other avenues. Money's been incredibly tight. It's been hard. But I always said that at some point you can always return. You can always go back to traditional things, you know. You can always change your life around. And that's kind of what I just want to show people. It's all about investing in yourself, knowing when to maneuver. You know, people will pick at you. They'll make you look like you're flawed, make you look like you're unhinged, make you look like you're not good enough. And it's like, I stand on my own 2 feet. I accomplish everything myself. I go for interviews. I get the jobs. I'm articulate. I can communicate. I'm transparent. I'm honest. I'm the same way in an interview as I am on here, camera now. You know, I'm just honest with people, and it's just, is it enough? I don't know, but it usually tends to be. And like I say, I've done my books as well. So at this point, got a job that's going to be able to pay for me to go on holiday and have a decent quality of life that's sustainable for myself, that's self-made. You know, no one's doing that for me. It's like, I've got it. I'm doing it. I'm paying my bills. I'm paying my way. I'm able to have things for myself. I'm doing it. But also, I've taken times out at periods and I've been able to write my books. Like I said, there's 6 books, 6 audio books. You never know when things pick up. So, I mean, if I can do it, other people can do it. There's times when life's hard. There's times when money and finances are really, really difficult. They're just moments of life. We go ups and downs. I'm sure there's going to be other lows in my life along with any highs. And you just ride the wave. You just keep riding the wave, you know. Sometimes life isn't fair, and believe me, I get really fed up too, especially with the books. Like, they should be successful, and it drives me nuts, to be honest. But it's like, I believe in myself. I'm proud of what I do. So, if anything, always do it for me anyway, you know. But anyway, hopefully this has gone, like I say, some way to helping people, really.